You know, if you guys thought you were going to get a normal Raw review, you're not getting it. This is going to be a rant. I didn't write it as a rant, but I'm going to be doing this as a freaking rant because this is freaking ridiculous. But there's a few things I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about it. Opening the show was pretty good. I'm not going to lie, it was okay. But I do admit one thing. Ronda Rousey doing a Samoan drop looked really kind of botchy. Maybe it was Stephanie that caused the botch. Or it could be Ronda that caused the botch. I'm going to look past it due to the fact she's only been in wrestling a couple of months. And if she is training on the side, getting ready for Royal Rumble, she's going to be sloppy. So I'm going to take that for what it is. Just sloppiness because of just beginning inexperience. The stupid thing. You have the Revival go up against the Bar. If they win, they go up against the Bar WrestleMania. And they lose. So now what? Are you going to unify the titles? You're going to unify SmackDown's title with Raw title? Because as far as I understand, what teams that are left on Raw to face? None. I don't see one freaking team, unless you're going to put Seth Rollins and you're going to put Finn Balor together in a team. That would be the only thing that would be a decent option. But then you can't do that because of what happened with the Mizzies and what happened with the match after that. Now I gotta say, I never really talk about the Mizzies with the Miz, but it is freaking funny seeing the Miz try to belittle everybody by making them have Oscar-like awards. I never really talk about it because a lot of times I forget, but I thought that isn't one of the greatest sticks he does, but it is still funny. So I do have to say that. How can I say this? The ending of the show. It was a long-winded thing from Paul Heyman. Was it good? It wasn't bad, and it was generally honest. Look, we know these wrestlers that a lot of times once they have an engagement, unless you have to have a kidney removed, your family comes second. That's the truth. If your kid has been born, you can't see it. If your wife is about to go into labor, you can't leave. Unless your contract allows for that, you can't leave. If your family's sick at home, or if your family has a heart attack, you can't go and see them until you finish the show and then finish the subsequent show that comes after it, like a WrestleMania or Royal Rumble. And then the next week, if you're not needed, you can go. Because if you're showing, it's part of your contract. And unless you're willing to break it, you're stuck. So I will say Paul Heyman was honest about it. But was it really effective? No. Because I really don't have a really strong interest in this feud. Because why? There is no feud. This is the problem. When it comes between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, it's not because Roman Reigns is the most hated person in wrestling by all the fans. It's because Brock Lesnar is not there to build a real feud. This is the problem I had more than 2 years ago when it came to Brock. I don't remember if I said it in a video, but I believe I did. That short-term gain, having Brock Lesnar there would be good. But long-term gain, it would not be good for the simple fact he won't be there. And if he's not there and he has the title, subsequently the show has no title. That means it has no direction. You need a champion to have a direction, and The Miz is not the one who has a direction. You need to get that strap off of him. You need to have a feud to make it interesting when you take the strap off of him. And I see no feud. There's no feud. I'm bored. And even though Roman Reigns didn't do a bad job in his promo, I'm still bored. Not because I hate Roman Reigns, not because I hate Paul Heyman, it's because it's boring because there's no one there on a constant basis to show the freaking title. You have to let Paul Heyman bring out the title instead of Brock Lesnar. And that's the end of that. The feud with Bayley and Sasha. I'm really surprised they decided to go down the dark side with Bayley instead of Sasha because it really seems like they're going against the grain. They'd rather see Bayley get hated and Sasha get cheered when the fans really want to cheer Bayley and boo Sasha. I don't know if this is going to work, particularly if they're going to have a match in WrestleMania. Ugh. I know a lot of people are... I'm going to put it like this. When it came to Bray Wyatt and it comes to Matt Hardy, this has to be the most epic thing we've seen in WWE. It's got to be a balls to the wall TNA thing. This is what the WWE is going to have to get their head around. If they don't let Matt Hardy have total control at that Hardy compound to make this a final deletion or a pop delicto type of thing, this will not work. Because seeing him destroy Rhino doesn't really mean much. But if this is going to be a creative thing that Matt Hardy's going to put together with his brother and Bray Wyatt, and there's no interference with the stupid writing team that they have, if this is all Matt Hardy writing it with Bray Wyatt helping, of course he's got to be a part of it, and Jeff, if all three of them are involved in this, this will be a great WrestleMania, a premium match. Which it isn't going to be a match. It's going to be an ultimate deletion. But if it's not, I'm not going to give a fuck. And I'm being honest here. Now, I know I could talk about other things, but this is all I'm going to talk about. Well, actually, Hillbilly Jim getting the Hall of Fame, I am happy about. I am. I really liked him. I still do. But this is the thing that's got to be talked about. This is the thing that's going to be stated. And this is my freaking rant. Why did the WWE literally bitch out their female monster? Why? It's bad enough that for over a year, literally from the time she was in NXT, easily more than a year, when she was in NXT, she should have won the strap then instead of moving up to the main roster without a win. She should have been a champ. No. So what do we get next? She goes on to Raw and SmackDown. She's been to both of them. Then she becomes exclusively Raw. And what happens? Yeah, she can destroy any woman she wants as long as there isn't a freaking title involved or a possible chance to get a title, and she loses every single time. Either the person beats her or she gets hurt. So now, after what happened in Elimination Chamber, you throw it to the dogs again with Asuka. She gets bitched out badly by Asuka. And I know a lot of people are going to start saying, oh, dude, she didn't get bitched out. You saw that match? She was incredible. Bullshit! Bull freaking shit. That did not help her. Having to struggle against Asuka should be at WrestleMania, not a freaking Raw 5 weeks out of WrestleMania. She should have been a champ instead of Alexa Bliss. And understand, I like Alexa Bliss. I actually do think she's a great talent. I do like her. She won me over. Not because she's great in the ring, but at least she's decent in the ring. She talks well, she has good charisma, and she knows how to play to the crowd and piss them off as well as to pull on the heartstring. That is what won me over all around, not her wrestling ability. But the point is, it is... Calm. Nia Jax should have won nearly a year ago. And if she couldn't win a year ago, she should have at least won somewhere in between July to November of last year. Even if she only could hold it a month, at least she would have some freaking credibility. And what do you get? Yes, she struggled against Asuka in an arm... she tapping out. And then later, going in the back with ice in her arm. And guess what? You got Alexa Bliss playing at her and making her freaking cry. You don't make the most dominant woman you have on the roster, a woman that's over 6 foot tall, who's at least near 200 pounds or more. She's as heavy as the freaking men and should be destroying those women and even be a contender against the men. To most of the cruiserweights, she should be able to kick their freaking asses. She's crying like a freaking bitch. Why would you actually make a woman who can make you money, draw money, Draw people into the stadiums, to the arenas, to WrestleMania, crying like she's a little girl because she couldn't beat Asuka. She's been beaten by Asuka. She got beaten by Asuka in NXT. She got beat at Elimination Chamber. She got beat here. And I know people are going to say, dude, that's the reason why she cried. No! You do not let the most dominant woman on the roster cry like she's a little girl, like she's a little bitch because she doesn't know how to handle it. And even if you turn her face, if this is her face turn, it's stupid because in the end, she doesn't gain anything. She's not credible anymore. This is the worst thing that the WWE could have done. This isn't drama. What does she actually gain by crying like that and losing to Asuka again? I'm sick of this. I'm being honest here. Unless people convince me to keep doing Raw reviews, I'm done. This was the worst thing I've seen on Raw in a long time. And believe me, the 25th anniversary was bad. Weeks ago was bad. But this? Seeing the most dominant woman cry like a little girl is almost the same as having Braun Strowman be in the most meaningless feud with someone who doesn't deserve it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm wrong. They already just did that. The Symphony of Violence match or whatever they called it. You got Braun Strowman working with Elias, who should not be destroyed by Braun Strowman. He should be building up even more going into the main title scene. And then Braun Strowman should be already in the main title scene, and he should have already had the championship title at least once already. No, he's exactly like Nia Jax, but he hasn't cried like a little baby like Nia Jax just did. Nia Jax is the most worst character in the history of the WWE in the last decade. They just ruined one of the best women they could have done something with. I'm honestly thinking of stopping my Raw reviews after this. Maybe I might change my mind after a couple of days. I see SmackDown, I do my TNA review, and maybe as I'm working on my animation work, maybe I'll change my mind and I might do a Raw review next week. But as it stands, I don't want to do them anymore. This is stupid. Please give me a reason to keep watching, please. Someone give me a reason to watch Raw and review it. I'll keep watching Raw, but I don't want to review it anymore. But this is just my point of view. I'm sorry this isn't a full review, but this is a freaking rant. I'm sorry. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.